So speaking is one of the most important tools that you can have as a person because it allows you to exchange ideas with other people, and it also helps you influence them and get things that you need to get. So it's both giving to people and getting the things out of people that you need, like how you do in a negotiation, for example. So for those reasons, I started weaponing myself with this skill set. I want to be a good speaker. I want to share my own ideas and get people to understand them in a way that is easy to understand and also entertaining to listen to as well. That is, for example, why I started this whole recording process in the first place. Now, the question that I want to solve today is how will I expand on that skill set? Because it's differentiated into different categories which have little to do with each other than the idea that they all work towards the same skill. Like it's different attributes of your own character. It's like um, when you run, that you need your left leg, your right leg. Need to swing your arms. Like those are all different parts that you have to unite when you're trying to do it. So the most obvious thing that you have to be able to do when learning how to talk with other people is having the courage to actually approach them. Now, this one is an idea that I've talked about before 3 videos ago, where I started approaching the girls. Essentially, what I'm doing is that I'm trying to make to place little steps of bravery, and always building up on that so that I can increase my capability to approach certain types of people. So I, for example, started being completely shy from everyone to right now being able to have conversations with strangers. Like it's a pretty big deal if you used to be someone who always stayed in his own bed because you were too afraid of the real world. It was like facing a dragon. Now that is the first skill. The second skills are more about the speaking itself and how you bring it forward to people. The way that I try to break it down is that you have your rhythm, your story, and how simple it is. Because if I started explaining something with words that only I know, or I'm the only one that has even heard about those words, and nobody will understand what you're getting at. Like it could be entertaining because you're maybe playing music in the background, but that doesn't really change the fact that nobody knows what you're saying. Now, the reason that I say your rhythm and story is that the rhythm part is your intonation. Because if I kept talking monotone the whole time and didn't really change my voice, if I didn't change my voice like that, it would be extremely frustrating to listen to me. There, there has to be this certain ring to it. And the way that I conceptualize it that it is the same as listening to music. It's like listening to a music piece. Now, the story behind it. Now, about the story. I've always seen people, or rather thoughts, as expressions of internal stories within us. So, for example, you talk about what you've done for the day. you always start with a start, you finish with a goal, and everything that is in between, which is a story structure. And in order to make that story, or rather what you're saying as entertaining as possible, is to trying to find the correct story that you want to express. Let's say you're a student and you just came back from school. You're not going to talk about how the teacher was explaining this one topic in this really monotone way. No, you want to look for what really calls out to you. Maybe something funny happens. Maybe you've learned something new. So you can say that you went to school, you learned something new, you were thinking about it, and it's this really adventurous thing that you've never heard about. Like you want to increase the emotional connection with the ideas that you're expressing. Because otherwise, you're not really speaking for the other person. You're just speaking to them with the hopes of being heard. You have to give them something that is usually invoking certain emotions within them. So, with that story element, it's not only about what is interesting to you, no, it is also what is interesting to them. And even though it sounds obvious, it's hard to miss that. No, it's easy to miss that idea. Like we all start being extremely excited about something that we've just done, and the moment we get the opportunity to speak about it, everyone just cringes a bit because they see you're so overly excited for a topic that's so disinteresting to them. So you have to adapt to what other people are saying.